And I'll share a story, and it's a real story about that mindset, that particular mechanism, just changing that one word helped me through a really tough situation. And I'll do my best to get through it without shedding a tear, because, there's no crying in podcasts, like we heard before. There's no crying in podcasts. But so it was a situation with my wife and I's first pregnancy. There were complications, and our first son was born very prematurely. A pregnancy is typically 40 weeks, 40 weeks. And he was born at 29 weeks. So he was significantly early in terms of his growth and development. So, he was born, and for the first 6 weeks of his life, he was in the neonatal ICU. And I don't know if you or any of our listeners have ever had to visit a neonatal ICU, but man, let me tell you, it's heavy. It can be very, very heavy. And God bless the women and men that work in those spaces, those healthcare providers that work in the neonatal ICU, because you're seeing kids that are, that'll fit into the palm of your hand, fighting for their lives. Kids that, as soon as they were born, they had to have open heart surgery to, repair a defect. And it's heart-wrenching. And my son was there for 6 weeks, and just going in that space, for the longest time when he was there, I would have a almost visceral response going in that space, because it just felt so heavy. It felt like there was so much despair in there. We were organized into pods where there would be about 5 or 6 kids in each pod, and, families would be in there, and there were parents there that couldn't even pick up their children because they had so many instruments and things like that. And it was to the point where that heaviness was wearing on me so tremendously that it was hard for me to even just go in the space to be with my son. And I sat down in the car when I was about to go home one day after visiting, and I had that mindset shift of, I have to go to this ICU to be with my son. I have to see all these other kids suffering. And it was a change. I said, I get to go see my son. I actually get to hold him, even though he's in the neonatal ICU. I get to, take him home at some point, because the reality was there were so many families and so many other parents there that didn't get to do those things. And that mindset shift to one of gratitude strengthened me and helped me to, power through and be there for my son. And, thank God that looking at him now, you would never know that he was a preemie. Nude, you've seen him. He's, 6'5" giant. And you'd never know that he was this super early kid that came out and, had to go through the things that he went through. But that mindset shift was critical, because it helped me to power through that and be there for my son and be there for my wife. I get to be there and do those things.